Hey, welcome back to another episode of the SkyoöD-Vu P.O.V show. Finally, I'm going to release the video that I shot back in January of my first test drive. So predominantly in-car footage of me driving and rambling on. I liked some of the stuff I had to say about the car and some other thoughts I had in my mind, and just had a real difficult time editing it down, so I apologize if it's a little long-winded. But it's my first one. So hopefully the next one is going to be a little better. I'll try to get some action videos on the outside. Soundtrack issue is a big problem. I'm struggling with getting good music and stuff like that. I don't play an instrument, and I've struggled finding stuff for other videos in the past, free audio, and I want to get into copyrights issues. So those are some things I want to work on in upcoming videos, but nevertheless, some things I didn't know in the video that I have answers to now that I want to kind of bring up before I show the in-car video footage and some of the outside video footage I shot, which are some facts about the vehicle. So what we're talking about is a 2018 model Octavia Combi Ambition. Ambition is the extra the package line, basically the bundle package. So you have different versions you can get. In this case, it's the Ambition. The engine is a 1.5 liter TSI engine with a 7-speed DSG, 110 kilowatts on the horsepower spectrum side of it. As best I could tell, it had the business package and the storage package included on the vehicle. And base price on a car like this in euros is 26,930. This is based off the configurator on Octavia, Skoda's configurator website for the Octavia model in the station wagon version as I drove. The paint is called a Cappuccino Beige Metallic. The wheels are the Catras in a 16-inch dimension. And with all those options that I listed, your base price jumps then to, as listed in the configurator, to about 30,250 euros, or roughly about, at today's rate, exchange rate, about $35,000. So a lot of money, but then again, things are a lot more expensive around Europe. Still, I think a great value for the size of the car and the features and capabilities. And so with further ado, without further ado, on to the test drive. So driving the 2018 Skoda Octavia Wagon. It's a rental car. Car only has 374 kilometers on it. Pretty much most of those put on by me, because at the rental agency they told me I'm the very first person to drive the car. So we'll do a little quick drive. I got to run an errand and take advantage of that time to add the video in here, and apologize for any lack of continuity as you watch the rest of the video. Try to edit some of the stuff out or to make it flow a little bit better. It is my first one, so I apologize for that. In Germany, it's cold, it's winter. Got the hat on, got the puffy jacket on. Sunglasses may not be so good for video, we'll have to see. First impressions, it's a DSG transmission. I like it in automatic mode. Not real impressed with the manual shift capability. Don't know. I've been watching a couple of videos on YouTube to see what people are saying about DSG and recommendation on how to drive it. I'm not getting it. Paddle shifter is kind of cool, I guess. But for me, the automatic seems to respond sporty enough for my taste. Although I'm a sporty driver and tend to prefer manual shift vehicles. So we're going to put it in drive and move along and see how this goes. I know Chris Evans lost his job or was criticized for his job at Top Gear when he took over after Hammond, May, and Clarkson. That he was criticized for supposedly having a problem of talking and driving. We'll see if I'm a victim of that as well. So very smooth shifts. It's a smooth ride. I mean, it's a brand new car, so obviously it's going to handle or feel very comfortable. Seats I like, maybe firm for the average American taste. I don't know, maybe I'm being biased there. I am half German, half American, and some things I'm more German than I am more American, and vice versa, depending on the situation or calls for. Heated steering wheel, very cool in the wintertime. First time I've had that. Heated seats respond great. I love the central display. It's about, I had to stop doing that bit. That's a pretty bad habit. The traffic circle here. See if somebody's gonna follow the rules. Engine just went out, very cool. Also, first time I've driven a car with the stop and go feature. I like it. Don't know how much effect it has on gasoline usage. One thing I do like, does not have backup cameras, does have backup sensors though, and in conjunction with that, when I throw the car in reverse, up on my screen here in the center console, I actually have an image of the vehicle and I guess sensors showing a potential collision area, so that when you back out, also interesting, it turns the volume down on the radio when you back out to make sure you concentrate on what you're doing, which may be a little bit Big Brother's, a little annoying when you're listening to podcasts and then you miss part of it because it decided you need to have peace and quiet while you do the backup procedure. But check up here, turn the lights on again. Always drive with full headlights on. People walking. All right, back up. So it shows me angle of departure, I guess you'd call it, reverse and forward. And then once I'm finally engaged in driving, it disappears. So kind of cool, I like it. It's a nice feature to have, I think. So back to where we came from. Pretty impressed with the acceleration on this vehicle too. I think it's a 7-speed, if I'm not mistaken, 7-speed DSG transmission. Shifts quick, holds the gear appropriately, I think, for an automatic. You get used to sometimes a lag reaction time. But these new automatics, I mean, they're nothing compared to the ones that I first learned to drive on, and was a bit of an anti-automatic person until I experienced how an automatic really should behave. That was my father's 1992 Mercedes 260E that actually had a winter and sports selection setting on automatic, and I was sold after that. Especially for commuting day in and day out, I like an automatic. If I want something to drive sporty and just do the longer drives, the sort of the Grand Tour type thing, yeah, then of course I would prefer a manual transmission. Gotta say, really like this car. I remember reading a couple years ago that Skoda, being owned by VW, that VW is often using Skoda as a test base for a lot of upcoming componentry and platform work. So, for example, whenever Skoda comes up with a completely new Fabia, in all reality, that is the next generation VW Polo. Since the Octavia is actually based on the Golf platform for VW, I'm going to guess, although I may do a little research for this video is over to find out if I'm guessing correctly, that I believe that this then would be a Golf Gen 8 that I'm actually driving. I've always been, I always kind of like the Skodas, especially after VW bought the company. Invested a lot of money, and I think it's doing well for them. It's good returns. I think they build a quite nice product. I like the interior on this car. I'm really impressed with the quality and the build level. I mean, they really don't have to hide behind anybody else. Sure, there's some area surfaces maybe where plastic's still a little hard, but overall, considering that I think this is not quite a base model, but I have to do a little research to find exactly which car it is. I looked at the registration sheet and it really doesn't tell you a lot. I haven't been able to find a Skoda VIN number breakdown cheat website yet to give me the kind of information I'm looking for that I'd like to provide in the video. But a great traveling car. I mean, I could definitely see this as a wonderful vehicle to take a long trip in. Has all the amenities, navigation, has Apple CarPlay, which I've experienced for the first time. I guess I really like. Being an Apple salesman myself, I have 2 jobs, so one of them is representing Apple products, and so I'm a big fan of that, and I like the connectivity. I thought it was going to be wireless, didn't realize CarPlay didn't work until I used the physical USB cable to connect the iPhone 2, which is a 10 that I'm using to film this on, that it required the cable. I had assumed it was a wireless connectivity thing, but it's no real big deal. I mean, at least I'm charging a phone this way. But I like it. I really like the controls. I like the sound. It's just as comfortable as actually using the actual Apple device itself, just on a much bigger screen. It's a little bit more comfortable, more pleasant experience. Yeah, this talking and driving thing is a lot tougher. I guess I'm gonna have to write some notes, get a little bit more professional to production, but I'll work on that. This is, like I said, my first video for the YouTube channel, although it's probably not gonna be the first one I release. At least it'll be the first in-car review video I release. So I'm averaging about 10.4 liters on 100 kilometers. I've covered a little over 370 kilometers in this vehicle already. I really got to say I like it. Like I said, partial. I don't know if this is a partial leather interior, or if it 100% genuine man-made leather. If it is man-made, synthetic, it is impressive. It has a nice feel to it. That's probably why I'm a little confused. If I owned the car, maybe I'd know all these things. But since it's a rental, some of the information is not available to me. Ride is firm, but comfortable. I mean, it's not bone-jarring, but then this is firm from a European, maybe more mentality, not the American mentality, maybe considered harsh ride. Don't know. Yeah, overall, I gotta say, positive experience. Very practical vehicle, has some nice amenities. Automatic climate control really works for her. Like the CarPlay, like I mentioned earlier. Radio's decent sound quality. I could definitely get spoiled by having this big screen, and maybe a big adjustment to go back to my standard DIN Kenwood radio that I have in my A3.